a little less than 6 minutes.
Minister, having participated in nearly 9 hours of committee meetings last week when Oireachtas members questioned various RTA executives, it is disappointing to think of how little of what has happened and who is responsible has actually been unearthed at this stage. Although it is fair to say that what has been exposed at both the Media Committee and the Public Accounts Committee has been absolutely shocking, to say the least. And if I had a euro for every person over the course of the weekend that told me that they will not pay their TV licence on foot of what has actually happened, I would be a very wealthy person and probably be able to fund RTE into the future. So that is how much damage has actually been done in terms of public confidence in the national broadcaster. Minister, we are currently very aware of the dangers of the amount of disinformation being disseminated online and the role and responsibility that a public broadcasting body has in countering the wall of untruths out there designed to cause maximum disruption and upheaval across communities. And I would hope that those at the centre of this scandal at RTE would reflect on the potential damage which their actions have wrought and seek to remedy the situation with the truth to allow for the full reform of the public broadcaster to take place. I've found it particularly disappointing to date that neither committee has heard the evidence from either Dee Forbes, Ryan Tubridy or Noel Kelly, the central figures to the entire affair. What has come clear from the outset is that there is a cosy consensus and insider culture existing within RTE, one which has existed in Irish public bodies for far too long, it has to be said. Individuals at the heart of RTE have been allowed to act in a manner they saw fit to, absolutely accountable to no one, in a culture absent of anything approaching an appropriate level of oversight or governance. And last week we saw an outpouring of anger and absolute frustration from ordinary journalists and workers within RTE. We were told of the constraints which they were forced to labour under as the fat cats at the top of RTE are living their best life, concealing payments and enjoying global sporting trips at the taxpayers' expense, at a time when workers at RTE were being told by RTE management that the station was in a very serious state of financial trouble, with many staff being forced into bogus self-employment contracts. And what has been uncovered was the existence of a slush fund to the value of €1.25 million, which was used to top up the salary of one of the already grossly overpaid presenters through a complex scheme designed to conceal payments, but which Ryan Tubridy benefited by over $150,000 over 2 of those years. Payments which were allegedly approved by the then Director General Dee Forbes. Other payments from this slush fund include €111,000 to send the commercial director and 5 others to the Rugby World Cup in Japan in 2019. €18,500 a head was spent on that junket. $138,000 on 10-year IRFU tickets, $26,000 on the Champions League final in 2019, tickets and buses to a U2 concert for clients, RTE management and their spouses, golf, wining and dining in the K Club, and that is only the tip of the iceberg that we actually know at this stage. At PAC and at the Media Committee, I've asked for the barter accounts going back to 2012 to be submitted. I welcome the appointment of the forensic accountant by the Minister, and I look forward to seeing what is unearthed by their work. I believe that those responsible for the scandal at RTE need to be made to face the consequences of their actions. The drip feeding of information which are being treated to last week needs to end. We need full accounting of what has occurred at RTE, and there needs to be full transparency, full accountability and far-reaching reform. Witnesses cannot be allowed to continue to hide from their actions. They need to be compelled to appear before the Public Accounts Committee And first and foremost, the Forbes must answer the allegations that have been labelled against her. And while I welcome the announcement of the establishment of the 2 separate reviews into RTE, I feel that it is important that the opposition parties get full sight of the terms of reference that the Minister has announced, to ensure that there is a full level of robustness there required. And when I questioned the members of the RTE Executive Board last Thursday as to whether Ryan Tubridy's decision to resign was influenced by the fact that concerns raised by the auditors from Deloitte around the invoices to Mr Tubridy were leaked, I was told by an executive member that it was, and I'll conclude now, this is not acceptable. The Chief Financial Officer, Richard Collins, stated in his evidence that it was his view that the taxpayer was defrauded. This leaves the potential for a full Garda investigation into allegations of fraud at RTE, which could end up running parallel to the 2 reviews which the Minister has announced. The Forbes, Ryan Tubridy, need to come before the Public Accounts Committee to answer questions about the whole affair. And just to conclude, Minister, I welcome the work that has been done, but the people in RTE know what they have done, and they need to come forward to the both committees, fully participate in the reviews to ensure we get to the bottom of what has gone on.
Arrangement, but what's down here